So today we're going to go through the very basic things that you need to do for your Etsy store to be as successful as possible so that you don't miss something that will make you lose sales if you just don't flip these particular switches. So let's go ahead and dive right in. Number one, make sure that you have a header for your store. The header is useful because you can show Etsy that you're actually engaging with your store. You can get a header made on Canva or some other place, and you can put a URL into the header that will allow people to find your main website if you have one, so that you're able to sell to people on places other than Etsy. Also, in addition to the header, make sure that you have a logo and have built out your bio on Etsy. These are very basic things that are very easy to overlook, but they are necessary because Etsy wants to see that you are engaging with its features. If you don't have these basic things in place, it's not going to matter. Now let's go ahead and go into products. Now you have your store set up, you're happy-go-lucky. You need to have about 20 products. This allows you to have enough stuff to test and also, again, shows Etsy that you're actually serious. Now realize what you're getting into here. With 20 products, you need to have 5 photos per product and you need 20 unique different products. They might be 3D printed files or whatever else you might be selling. But 20 is the baseline to show Etsy that you're actually engaged. Get ready for that work because this is the foundation that you're going to build your store off of. If this is too much work for you to get started, then you might not be ready for the journey that's coming down the pipe as you grow your Etsy store. So you have 20 items. Now you need to build out the titles for these items. Many people make the mistake of putting description information into titles, like 3 foot tall something or another. That is not the way to do it. The title is the main search term that people are typing in to find your item. If you are selling a widget, you need to say widget in your kitchen, widget for changing plants, widget that's also good for your boyfriend, whatever it happens to be. Anything that a person would search to find your item is what you should have in the title. If you need help finding these kind of things, there are all kinds of keyword search tools out there. You can even go into ChatGPT and say, this is my item. Give me 5 to 10 search terms that are useful for this, and then put those search terms into your title where you have search term, vertical bracket, search term, vertical bracket. Now, you have the description that goes into your item. This description should be at least 3 paragraphs. Each one of those paragraphs should have 3 sentences. That amount of words inside of there. Embellish, move it around, whatever it is that works for you. But you open up with a paragraph that explains what your item is, basically gives more detail from what the title is, and then your other paragraphs give a lot more detail. How fast does it ship? How big is it? How much does it weigh? What's your story? How is it made? You want to write a small essay about your product, giving every piece of information that people can have. You also want to have certain keywords in this. So here's what you do. In order to write your description, you can go ahead and take the keywords from your title, put those into ChatGPT, and then say, here is a rough outline of my product description. Please integrate those keywords into this description and write me a new description. And ChatGPT will create an original description that is long enough, that has enough espousement inside of it, so that you have a full description that is good and useful to a customer, has the core information, and has those keywords in it so that you go up in search. Now, inside of your product listing, you need to have 5 good images. These 5 good images are meant to show your item in the world. You're trying to allay fears of people. They need to know how big it is. They need to know how to use it. They need to know what color it is. They need to know how it looks in the world. White backgrounds are fine for like thumbnail images so that people can kind of see what your item is quickly, but then after that, you need to show it in context. If you're selling a mug, it needs to be on a table next to some coffee and tea packets. That way people know what it's like inside of the real world, how big it is, how it interacts, what it looks like. Show it in front of naturalistic places that people can relate to. Just voided colored backgrounds aren't useful because people don't know if it's this big or this big. The void doesn't show anything. Now, out of these images, you need to pick a thumbnail image. The thumbnail image is the most important image. You need to make sure that the item is fully centered, and when you're out in the search results, that the item still appears in that centered framed image. This is really, really important because if you have a poorly positioned item, then the thumbnail will crop it off halfway and people won't click on it. So make sure that the thumbnail very quickly and clearly communicates what the item is. This is like the thumbnail on a YouTube video. Do not have other stuff in that image. Make sure the thumbnail is very clear and very concise. Don't overthink it with any of these images. These images do not have to be photography level images. You can use your phone. You can use a camera from 2012. These are all fine, just so long as they're well composed and communicate what the item is. People are willing to forgive slightly bad photography because Etsy is kind of a homegrown spot, but they will not forgive unclear communication. And lastly, in the product listing, put a video into it. I don't care if you make a brick that sits in a corner. Take a video of it. Etsy is bumping up products that have video because they want to advertise it on Reels, on TikTok, that kind of thing. If you don't have a video, they can't advertise you on the main platforms that are out there right now. So you have to have a video of your product. This way they can actually push it for you. And again, since they know you're using video, they will level up your listings and show them to the world because you're using their features. Anytime Etsy or any platform has new features, you have to use them because you get an inordinate amount of boost from that because they want to know if that feature is working or not. So use video in your listing. It does not matter what the item is. And again, don't overthink it. Pan around with your phone, show the thing in the world. Pick up the mug, turn it around, pour some tea into it. That's all you have to do. It doesn't have to be some creative cinematic masterpiece. It just needs to be a video in your listing that communicates what the product is. All right, now you have 20 products built out and you are rolling. You have a store active, header is there, descriptions are good, titles are working. Now, the things that everybody forgets at this stage, they think their item will start selling. That is not the case. Number one, make sure that you flip on free shipping for your store. This is scary to people and they don't want to do it. Increase the prices of all your items to pay for the shipping and then turn on free shipping. And this gives you a green bubble at the bottom of every one of your listings in search. And again, pushes them up higher in search because Etsy will push items that have free shipping over items that have paid shipping. It's also a better customer experience because the customer does not have to make as many decisions. They don't have to decide to buy your product and then find out that there's also shipping on top of it. Price your items high enough to pay for free shipping and then list them at that price. Do not have the item and then shipping down below. That's a terrible way to do it because you reduce your conversions, you reduce your search, and you just hurt yourself. Turn on free shipping and figure out a way to pay for it by readjusting your prices. We have other videos coming out on the channel that discuss this particular problem. You can look at those for the details on that, but turn on free shipping. Secondly, turn on ads. This is something else that people always leave alone. Ads radically improve your listings because if you ever search through Etsy, the very first items that pop up are sponsored items that have an ad paid for by the seller. That gets the #1 search spot. If you are trying to sell on Etsy and people are searching for your item, you want the #1 search spot and it's quite cheap to get a hold of. So turn on ads on Etsy. You are able to set a daily budget. You can say $10 per day, spend this much promoting their listings. And they will spend up to $10, but not necessarily $10. If you set it at 10, they might only spend like $2 a day. Watch it, set a budget of like $50 to $100 and let it run for a week and then see what it does. Keep an eye on them, make sure they don't run away, but they will be good for your store. The vast majority of the time, they are good for your store. Set a budget, be ready for it, keep an eye on it, check it daily, and you'll be fine. And ads will radically improve your sales if you have a good product and you have done all the previous things that we've discussed in this video. That's it, guys. Those are the things you need to create a successful Etsy store. Use the features, build out the basic information with header and biography and that kind of stuff. Spend time on the titles, build out the descriptions using ChatGPT when you need to, and then make sure you have decent photos showing the item in the real world and show a video of it in the world doing what it's supposed to do. And then lastly, make sure that you turn on ads and make sure you have free shipping. And you have a really good shot of selling your product well on Etsy if you have a product that's a good product. Have a great day, everybody.